tried to catch you doing that, but I missed.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Sister Sharpens Sister. Today we're going to be talking about something that's a little more personal than the other things that we've been talking about. We decided that we were going to talk about things that we wish we had known when we were in our 20s. Because I can't tell you how many times I have seen Facebook Reels or something on TikTok where some young woman says, I wish somebody had told me. Well, guess what? That's what this episode is. We are telling you 5 things that we wish we knew when we were younger.
Thinking of where my life is right now, and I thought about how things are right now and things I wish I had done in the past that would make some things better right now for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I came from. Like my first one is my body is not my enemy. It's where I live and I need to treat it like my home. And I didn't do that when I was younger because it was a diet here and this diet there and restrict this and move more and cardio, 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 cardio. Jane Fonda, cardio, cardio, cardio. Richard Simmons.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm telling my age now, right? But
I have a question.
yeah,
Can we put into context what year it was when we were 20?
um,
I
when
was
I
it was
was
19
20, it was 1987.
it was 1990 for me.
And it's hard to get away from self-criticizing. I think that's something that we do no matter how old we are. You think I'm not smart enough, I
Mhm.
don't have a good enough voice, I'm I weigh too much, I eat too much, I have too many wrinkles, I have too much gray hair. But when you're younger, you're thinking things like, um, I don't have a 28-inch waist, or I don't have long enough legs, or I don't have the right color hair.
My fingernails aren't nice.
Yeah, things of that
Toenails aren't
nature.
nice. Yeah.
But if I had to tell my 20-year-old self something about my body today, it would be, you are strong. That is what you are made for. You are not made to be I don't know, to be a twig. Your body has carried children, it has carried grief, it has carried joy,
Anger.
and it's going to do so much more. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I would tell my 20-year-old self, eat to fuel your body, right? Eat the right foods. Move so that you can feel strong, not so that you can look thin. And rest when you need to, and do that without regret or apology.
For
He's
me,
grinning.
for me, the number one I have is to know more about the stock market and how to invest money. Because I would tell myself, buy as much Microsoft stock as you can afford in January of 1990,
Right? Buy Bitcoin.
because I've got some
Back
figures to
then.
share. I got some figures to share about Microsoft stock, okay?
All right.
The early 1990s, Microsoft stock was considered a penny stock. It was only 49 cents a share.
Wow.
1990, 49 cents a share, okay? Um, so if you had purchased, say, 204 shares, which is about $100 worth of Microsoft stock in 1990, and reinvested all the dividends, your shares would have multiplied significantly due to several stock splits and the compounding effect of reinvesting dividends. Okay. Because if you do all that, just let it sit, don't do nothing with it, you will have owned from those 204 shares, you would today own 58,752 shares.
Wow.
Okay. Now, the current value as of when I checked this, which was Friday, because Microsoft trades after hours, so it may not be this value at this moment. But when I checked it on Friday, the value of the Microsoft stock was $510.15. Okay. So you would, if you had done that and not touched it and done anything with it today, you would have $29,972,000, $332.80 worth of Microsoft stock.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard when you're 20 to think about when you're almost 60.
Yeah, it is.
You think that is such a long time.
Yes.
It is not.
No, it's not. And that also brings into mind another one that I have on here is that I wish I would have known to have started putting money in my own IRA even when I was 20 years old. Even if it's $10 a week, it will make a difference when you're almost 60.
Right. But here's a question to think about. In 1990, was an IRA a thing?
I'm not sure. I think it was, but you still could have just put it into a savings account
Right. Because
and then later,
IRAs weren't really well known because that in 1990 companies still had something that they called retirement plans. You didn't have to rely on a 401k that somebody else was using to play the stock market with.
yeah. Okay, yes, individual retirement accounts or IRAs were available in 1990. The traditional IRAs have been in existence since 1974.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been around a while. It's just that, yeah, like Karen was saying, a lot of the companies they had actual retirement plans, and the ones that didn't would have had 401ks, which is not a true retirement plan, but it's kind of like one.
Yeah.
But you can do your own and put money in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing says that you can't.
Nope.
What about you, Shalon? What have you got? What's one of your things?
Okay, so in 2001 was when I was 20. And my first thing I wrote down would be to spend more time with my family and be more intentional.
Yeah, that's a big
Mhm.
one.
That is.
Yeah, because since 2001, we have lost a lot of family.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
have.
And you always have regrets of things that you don't do.
Mhm.
So I wish I would have listened more to those prompts that I had to call this person, write this person a letter, send them a card, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
What's funny is I asked Tim what would he go back and tell his 20-year-old self, and he also said invest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that that's the most important thing to me right now because, like Shalon's saying, family is by far.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
But when we were putting together our list, I got to thinking about my life right now and what do I wish I would have done differently for me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wish I would have done that. Yeah.
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 And this is actually this was hard for me to do because I don't know when I adopted this thought process or mentality, but everything in my past made me who I am today. And if
Yeah.
I changed something, I would be different.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It was really hard for me to like hone in on a few things, but I mean I did, and I feel like that these things may or may not change me personality wise if I had done these when I was 20.
One that I have on my list is that I don't have to do everything just because I can do everything. I've never really been a people pleaser. I don't give 2 cents what somebody else thinks.
Mhm.
I honestly don't. But did I overextend myself at times? Yeah, because church committees, soccer teams, bringing snacks for intramurals and all that good stuff for the kids, working with the school, crocheting different things and donating them to projects that church or the kids' school had been doing. And I think I could do that better and not be not feel like I was always pressed for time, like I never had any room to breathe.
Mhm.
So, I mean, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do
Good.
something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
I understand that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah, I've actually got something similar in mind. It's just a little further down on my list. Is that to care less about what people think? Because I used
Yeah.
to care, but I grew to the point to where I don't care anymore. So I learned. I just didn't know that when I was in my 20s. When I was 20 years old, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
What is that people say? It's like other people's opinions of me is none of my business.
Yep. And quite frankly, most of the people you have contact with, you may never ever see again. Like somebody you see in a store, if you walk in and I don't know, you've been doing something to where your arms are dirty and you got dirt on, you don't want people to see you. Chances are you're not going to see anybody in that store again. Maybe the clerk,
Right.
right?
But they know
But
what you
not
look like before.
yes. So if you think that this person who's buying apples is going to look at your dirty arms and have a bad thought about you, who cares? Chances are you are never going to see them again. So it doesn't matter. And the people that do matter won't care that you got dirt on your arms.
Exactly.
Make it a one income household because when I thought back on this, one thing that I longed for, especially when the girls were little, was to be able to be home with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not that Tim and I have ever lived out of our means, but our means have always had to have two incomes.
Right.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
And when it
yeah,
came to the point where I couldn't work anymore, like where I could not physically do my job, I felt like, I don't know, a failure, a complete failure. I went into a depression, like seriously. Did I go to the doctor for it? No, I didn't. Um, but if you have depression and you need to go to the doctor, please go do that.
Go to the doctor. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not opposed to it. But I came to the realization that that was one of the ways that I felt like God was telling me that I needed to focus on my relationship with my husband and take care of my children.
Mm-hmm.
And I do honestly believe that if I had kept working, I would have ended up with a third divorce instead of just two.
Yeah. So it was something good for you then.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, are
when
you
it
clicking your pen?
happened, it didn't feel good at all. And it
No.
was
Oh
really
no.
difficult to go from having two incomes because I actually made more money than my husband did,
Mm-hmm.
to go from that to making a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some serious changes happen. We had to move house. We had to get a different vehicle. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was big.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But our relationship has gotten to the point that we have friends who will tell us, especially the women, will come up and tell me, I wish my husband treated me like Arnie treats you. And I think that's something that God used
Mm-hmm.
to help inspire other people to have better relationships with their spouses.
Yes, and to improve your relationship with yours. Something
Yeah,
bad happened, but something good came from it.
Right.
absolutely.
Yes. I got a
Absolutely.
question for Shalon.
Yes.
Are you clicking and playing with your pen?
Sorry.
It's just I keep hearing something,
Well, I'm
and
not
I don't.
cooking it, but I'm playing with the little.
Okay, yeah, I keep hearing something, and I'm like, what is that?
Do I have a bug flying around?
What is it? What is it? But I'm also thinking I don't know if it's coming through on Karen's or not.
I don't hear it, no.
But then I saw Shalon in her pen. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's
You
it.
might hear it on editing. Sorry, y'all.
Funny.
See, going from two incomes to down to one has to be a complete overhaul for sure.
Mhm.
I don't care who you are. But when you start off with the mentality of when we have children, I want to stay at home. Like you are already within that one, maybe you're saving the second income. and then you're still living within the one income.
Right, yeah.
So
And it's very doable.
that,
Some people do that.
oh yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I see it being done more nowadays than when I was younger. Because I was always told you need to go to college and you need to get a job and a career before you have a family.
Hmm. Yeah.
No, you don't.
The actual number two I have on mine is that I wish I would have known that the bad feelings that I would sometimes get about people and places and situations when I was in my 20s, I would have known that that was God talking to me and not just me putting stuff in my head.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't know that was discernment working. I didn't know what discernment was at the time.
Now, how did you find out? How did you learn that it was discernment that had been speaking to you?
Um, we had moved and were living in Venice at the time, and I was driving home from work, and I used to get so angry driving on US 41, and so angry because people pull out in front of you and gonna slam your brakes, and I just get so angry. And this one day, somebody pulled out in front of me, I had to slam on my brakes, and it's like God just reached down and touched me and said, "Hey, this is not worth your anger. Your anger is very expensive.
Mm,
It's not worth your anger." So I'm like, huh. And from that day on, I've never gotten angry because of traffic ever again. But because that happened, it also made me think back on all those times I felt bad stuff was going to happen and I didn't listen to it and I regretted not listening to it.
yeah.
That's when it kind of all started coming to me, and I was early 30s maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about the driving, I need to make sure that my husband hears this part.
Yes. Anger is an expensive emotion, and sometimes we need it and it's useful, but most things are not worth the price of being angry.
Hmm.
And traffic is not one of those.
It's just not one of them. No, no. Every time somebody will do something like that when we're out, my immediate response is maybe they have to poop, and that kind of cools him down, right? Because he'll be like, "You blankety blank blank." I mean, normally I would say those words, but I'm not going to because I don't want to have to edit them out. But and I'll say that, and he's like, "You're just wrong," and it calms him down a little bit. But yeah,
Humor. Yeah, humor sometimes deflates. So
yeah. Well, maybe they really do have to go to the bathroom.
maybe they do.
I wrote down to not eat so much sugar.
That's a good one.
That is a good
Yeah.
one. Not only
Yeah.
for mental and physical health, but also your dental health.
Yeah. Lord. Yeah. Um, because it's like I say things to my children like, can you make a better decision about what you're about to eat right now? And I just ask them, can they make a better decision? Sometimes they flat out tell me, no, this is what I want right now. Okay, whatever. But if I would have started this process of trying not to consume so much sugar in my 20s, I might actually have a good habit of avoiding it now that I'm in my 40s.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a really good thought.
And no one ever laid out a good meal plan for me that I grasped and understood of like, oh, well, yeah, this is really how we should be eating until I started doing 21 Day Fix.
Hmm. Well, it wasn't until like what the late '90s, the early 2000s that people started paying attention to if you want to lose weight, let's make a meal plan. Don't just tell people to eat salads all the time.
Well, yeah, but it also went from, it's your input versus your output. All you need to do is watch your calories. But nobody until 21 Day Fix, I never thought of what the content of my calories and how much of a difference that would make in how I feel when I'm trying to eat at a deficit and drop some weight versus when I was a Weight Watchers girl
Yeah,
and it would count points and they had those little cakes where the first ingredient is sugar. Oh, it's
yeah,
only 2 points. And I would eat like 3 of those.
yeah. Here's my
But
12
again,
points worth.
yeah, exactly. When I could have had, 12 points worth of meat and vegetables and a fruit,
Yeah.
which would have
And
been
stay
so
full
much
for
more
longer.
satiating.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it wasn't until I was in my 30s that that clicked for me.
I have peace over prosperity every time. And I've touched on this when I was talking about going from a two income family down to one and not overextending yourself by saying yes to everything that everybody asks. But when you're young, you think the more money you have, the 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 more proactive you are, that you would have a calm and secure life. But that's not the way it works. To have peace, if you haven't ever had it, you don't know what you're missing. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
Because I've
Yeah.
come to realize that if something is happening and I have this urge to get involved, I have to ask myself, how's that going to make you feel? Because if it is worth my peace, then it's too expensive and I avoid it.
Sometimes you might not realize it's costing you your peace until you're in it, and it's okay for you to stop.
And say, yeah, say I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, I can do this no longer.
Yep.
That you're never too young to start using moisturizer. Just make sure you get the right kind for your age and your skin.
That's something I cannot use. I have never found one that I could use that doesn't cause me to break out.
I use one called CeraVe, and it was one of the ones that was recommended by my dermatologist. It's not
Okay.
cheap, but it goes a long way when you use it. I only have to buy it a few times a year. I've also used one that Neutrogena makes whenever if I can't find the CeraVe, I use one that Neutrogena makes, and
Mhm. Yeah.
it did pretty good with me. And the dermatologist also told me that that was a good one to go to if you have problems with skin irritations.
Yeah. I couldn't at the time when I was using Neutrogena, it was breaking me out.
Well, yeah, it was on the bottom of the list of what the dermatologist told me.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's yeah.
I was just going to say that as far as moisturizer, I used to do a ton of stuff like that for my face. And then when COVID hit, and I was every other day in the office, and the next day I'd be at home, the next day I'd be in the office, next day I'd be at home. I just quit wearing makeup and quit doing the whole moisturizer 10, 10 things on your face. My face actually cleared up. And ever since then, I've used oils on my face as my moisturizer.
Hmm.
It seems counterintuitive that if you have an oily face, because I've got an oily T zone.
Same, same. But one reason why you might be experiencing a ton of oil is because you're not feeding your skin oil, so it's trying to produce too much.
Yeah. So I'm like oily T zone and then really dry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, same. Yeah, I use a combination of jojoba oil, rosehip oil, vitamin E. What's the other one? I have a rose oil that has like hydrolonic acid or whatever it is in it.
Hmm.
But I'll do like 5 drops of the jojoba, 2 drops or 3 drops of the rose hips, and then 1 drop of the vitamin E and a few drops of the rose oil on my décolleté area,
Hmm.
boobies up,
Yeah.
the whole thing. That's what I've been doing, and I like that better than moisturizers that I used to
Yeah.
use.
Well, I mean, if
Anyway,
that works for you and it's good for your face, then that's awesome. Now, the vitamin E I use under the eyes, around the eyes,
mhm.
and here and on my chest.
I don't do anything. I wash it, I dry it, I go. Maybe
All
that's my
right.
problem.
Okay. But all right, my next thing I wrote down was to go to school for a skill because I never went to college.
You don't have to.
And the only thing I've ever done is get on the job experience to get me to where I am now.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And, you know, together, Tim and I make a pretty decent income. We have a nice house. And I just would like, if I would learn a skill, something like, I don't know, massage therapy or something where I could create my own business.
Mm.
Hmm.
That way I can make my own hours and kind of maybe even help with the one income household I was dreaming about, um, as like a supplement to that.
Yeah. Shalon goes to massage therapy, and when when you said learn a skill, I go to small engine repair.
Well, yeah, I mean, I also thought of things like plumbers, electricians, welders, all of that.
Yeah.
Dee Dee touched briefly on finances when she was talking about learning the stocks,
Hmm.
and mine about finances is credit cards are not your emergency fund. Even if it does come
Yeah.
with a cute little holographic image on the card.
Yeah.
If I had a credit card like a Discover card and I could spend $500, I thought that was $500 that I had. I could spend
Mm.
it. I could go to wherever and spend up to $500. That's not what that is.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't do anything but add layers of debt and
Yeah,
layers of stress.
yeah.
Hmm.
And the debt on a credit card is more than, this is a big statement, can be more than the debt that you have for a house that you're trying to buy, because you got to look at that interest rate.
Yes. Yes, you
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And don't just pay the minimum. I mean, if you're
Yeah,
going to have
no.
a credit card, you should pay it off every month.
Yep,
Yes.
every month, every month. If I could go back, I would learn how to, or I would tell myself, learn to budget without shame. Without shame.
Hmm.
If you have $5 extra, that doesn't mean go to Starbucks and spend $5. That means put it away, because that $5 with compounding interest can help you to financial stability.
Yeah. Yeah. $5 now, $10 next time, $20, $2. It adds up over time.
It does add up. I mean,
Hmm.
start putting your spare change in a piggy bank, or, like
Yeah.
a cheese ball container or something, and see how
Yeah.
fast that fills up.
Yeah. The
If
thing
you
is that
actually carry real cash nowadays.
yes, yes, you should never spend all of your paycheck. You should always have some left over before next week. And
Mhm.
if you can get through to that next pay period without needing to spend what you've got left over, save what's left over and do it
Yep.
the next time, and then the next time, and then the next time. That's how you can build up an emergency fund.
Yeah.
Well, my next one, which is my last one, is experiences are important, so don't be too scared. Don't be too scared to try something new.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you have tried? What do you wish you would have tried in your 20s?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I was brave enough to want to do bungee jumping and skydiving. Now, ain't no way I'm doing either one of them. So I wish I would have just went ahead and bit the bullet and done those when I was in my 20s.
Okay, now, so wait a minute.
I know.
Is your age now reflective of your knowledge of what could happen?
I'm not sure it's that. When I was in my 20s, I didn't realize I was afraid of heights
Oh, I
because
see.
I had never really been anywhere to where I was up really really high. I mean, where we grew up, there's no big tall buildings to be in. I mean, the highest thing I got in was a tree, but that's like a single story, and that doesn't really affect me that badly.
Right.
So I might have done one like the skydiving, but then said heck no to the other because I would have realized how scared I was of heights when I went to jump out of that plane, and it
Right.
would have
Oh, well, that
stopped me.
makes sense.
Yeah, but I wish I would have done that in my 20s.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, though, right?
True. You can also learn a lot about yourself when you try these new experiences.
Absolutely.
Well, the last thing I have written down, and I don't even know if this is in the time era, but I just thought it was kind of funny. I wrote down start a YouTube channel.
I think, look up, Dee Dee. When did YouTube
I
start?
don't know.
I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. So this would have been like the time.
YouTube founded February 14th, 2005, so early 2000s.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Well,
Well, if you
um,
were 20 in 2001, you would have been in your 20s.
it would have been in my 20s. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
fits.
Yeah, it does.
Um, I would have been 24 in 2005. But I also had like a little thing to the side that said be spontaneous. And maybe that's kind of like what Dee Dee's talking about of
Yeah.
being open to experiences.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's something that Arnie and I like to do now. It's like yesterday we went to Summersville. We know Summersville,
Hmm.
you know, it's like right there. Shalon, I've encouraged to go past the dam, past the lake, go past the lake and the ice cream shop and go to downtown, just
That's all
go,
we ever,
go.
that's all we ever do.
Yeah. And we wanted to do a couple of different things while we were up there, and we did them. We ate at a new place. It was really good. We um we went to a couple of shops, and when we were at this one little farmer's market, and I say little, the shop, the store was probably um like not counting storage, just their, what do you call it? It's not a showroom,
Their
but like the
displays or
shopping
whatever.
area
Yeah.
Yeah.
was probably the size of my living room, my living and dining room, like right here where I am now. I mean, it was
Okay.
small, but they had on their counter a little flyer for a distillery that's there in Somersville. And
Hmm.
we were like, oh, do we want to go to this? That was a spontaneous thing that we did.
Hmm.
The last one that I have is to use your voice, even if you stutter or if it shakes, speak up. Um, I've always been vocal. You guys know that. I've never really been the quiet one, but there are things that I wish I would have spoke up about that I didn't. And and at that time when you're in your 20s, you think, well, what's somebody going to think if I speak up about this, or if I speak out about that or against that? I don't know.
There's always going to be somebody that's not going to like what you have to say.
Correct.
Always.
That's true.
Yeah.
And somebody's always going to be more polished. They're going to have better words. They're going to have
Hmm.
a better voice, but it
Hmm.
doesn't mean that you can't contribute something to it.
No, and it doesn't mean that what you have to say is not important.
Right. Right. I mean, you don't need credentials to be credible, right?
No, you don't.
You just need courage. Do you have anything else, Shalon?
Well, I was thinking one thing and then I got distracted by your talking about credibility. And because I remembered I had written down something that I was listening to a podcast and the guy said it. He says, your ability becomes your credibility.
That is so good.
And I was like, oh, I wrote that down. Where is it?
Yeah, yeah, that's really true. I'd never thought about that, but it does. Yeah.
I think my question now for me is now that I have told my 20 something self this, although how old am I? 44. I'm telling my 44-year-old self this. Am I going to do something about it or am I still going to be telling myself this when I'm 60?
Yeah. I mean, these are things that we have said we wish we knew that we now know. So are we going to do the things that we now know?
What are we doing about it? That's my question to myself.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's a good point. So I'm going to go through mine. I cannot afford to buy Microsoft stock. It's worth more than $500 a share. But I can look for a possible penny stock that could develop into something. So I could
Yeah.
do that. I mean, I've got accounts. Haven't done that, although I do own what technically would be considered penny stocks. So maybe they'll add up to something. Who knows? I know that those bad feelings I get are coming from God, so I know to listen to them. I do put money in for retirement, so I'm already doing that. I do use moisturizers, and I do use those that are good for my age and my face. I don't really care what other people think now. I mean, I did in my 20s. Once I hit my 30s, I don't care. You can say what you want. I may have something to say back to you, and I may not. I'm not as vocal as Karen is, but I will tell you what I think if I feel like I need to. I mean, you all
Right.
know
Yeah.
that. I'm not somebody that's just going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I will voice out if I feel I need to. Just because I'm quiet and respectful does not mean I don't have a spine. Do not mistake it for that. And let me see what else was there. Experiences. I probably do need to start having more experiences. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but we'll see.
So that's our lists of 5 things that we wished we had known when we were 20, things that we would tell our 20-year-old self. If you've ever had the thought, I wish somebody would have told me, there you go. We're serving it to you on a digital platter. Next week, we are going to be talking about flowers, how important they are to the ecosystem and to us as humans. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the stuff, and we'll see you next week. All right?
Yep. I'll be
All
here.
right. I love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.